Alright drummers, thanks very much for having me back on your YouTube screen. Of course today we do have a Cajon lesson. This one's about a little pattern called the Herta. A lot of people use it as an unofficial rudiment or a hybrid rudiment, but on paper it just looks like this. So you can see that we've got some 16ths and 8ths there basically, but it's just the 4 notes. 2 of them are 1 speed, the last 2 are just half the speed. Da 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 da. And basically when you speed it up, you put it into like a little triplet kind of thing, it becomes a really fast, sort of fun texture to play with in the solos or any grooves. But often I like to use it as a fill and combine it with a foot slide, something like that. I think it's really cool. So that's what we're going to learn today, and I'll take you through it. So the first thing that we need to do is get a feel for the pattern. So we'll just play it out nice and slowly, and feel free to play along. Okay, and now let's have a listen to how it sounds when we speed it up. Okay, so now we need a way to make that useful. So let's start with an exercise. Now this one's pretty good because it means that you can get it into a fill sort of straight after you've worked your way into it. But it's just 2 rotations at the snare up the top and then 2 on the bass. Now I really like this exercise as something that you can just drop into and keep going for some ridiculous amount of time until it feels really, really natural. Okay, now let's turn what we've got there into a fill, something that we can use in a bar of 4/4. So all we have to do is go with the 2 groups up the top, 2 on the bass, and then follow it up with just 4 8th notes. Let's have a listen to that. I like to really accent those last 4 notes on the snare just to make this big sort of drop into it and then sort of a dramatic finish to it. Sort of a nice way to drop back into a groove after going to something, for the most part, is kind of radically different sounding. So now that we're getting that together, it's starting to sound pretty good. The pattern's a little bit tighter and we're starting to feel the way around the rhythm a little bit more. I want to try another variation where we've got the first 2 on the bass and the last 2, the slower ones, on the snare. I think this sounds really cool when you speed it up because it sort of breaks up the texture halfway through and it sounds really interesting. So let's take those 2 versions and we'll do the first half with the 2 on the snare, 2 on the bass, da 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 da, and then we'll do the second half, same thing with the da 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 at the end, but we'll do the half and half one. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so that's starting to sound pretty cool. So let's drop a foot slide into that, just to give us a little bit more variety once again. With the foot slide, I think I'll just keep it just in the one place, just a, and then maybe follow it up like with one of those half and half things afterwards. And I think that's just about as much as the Herta can throw at us on the Cajon. So there's probably a bit to practice there, and I hope that you do have a bit to practice after watching this, because I've certainly spent a lot of time on the bus, on the train, just going and you know, it directly translates to the Cajon. So it's a great way to practice if you haven't done that. Just annoy everyone around you going. But yeah, that's my random tip for the end of the video. So thanks very much for watching, and if you want to keep up with my new videos as they come out, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and it'll hop along to your YouTube feed every time they come out. So leave a comment if you have any questions at all. I'll try and reply to those, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Excuse me, do you mind? I'm trying to commute here.